So this is a part 2 of the lady that came to the Soweto podcast, and she was talking about the things that she does in the Ndumbrization. In the Ndumbri. When Ndumbring. When numerical behaviors arise, the things she does. So, on the first episode, we spoke about her, talking about her friend going to sell her soul. She went to consult, ended up selling her soul. If you didn't see that episode, check the pinned comments. Now, on this one, she was talking about some of the things that she does. You know, they are not wicked. That's what she says. But I wanted us to go and listen, because when she starts that, there is a specific point she mentioned right about here.
Okay. Khona abanye amantombazana amaningi avilapha ukusebenza, so bayathanda ukuthi makalala nomuntu abe nalento ezomotivate ukuthi akhiphe imali. So she said, this is some ladies that they don't want to go to work, so they want to go sleep with someone, then that person is hooked, forced to give money, and just be feeling like giving them money. So this is part of her work. So I thought, sounds dodge. You don't think it sounds dodge? But anyways, who am I? When she went, this is when she was describing when she went to the Ndumbi. That is why na today la ngikhona nama ngifuna ukwenzela abantu izinto ezibheke eqeleni, ngoba ngazi background yami, ngazi ukuhlupheka kokuhlala ephehlweni. 2 years yonke ngihleli lapha nganamali yokuphuma. Kunzima ukuthi ngidle, kunzima ukuthi ngigeze.
2 years.
2 years.
I don't understand. So she knows the difficulty of poverty. She knows the difficulty of a person struggling. But then she does things that trap others into doing that. Like, if you are doing this juju, and there's a lady who's sleeping with a married man, and now this married man has this edge, which is not from him, it's from the juju of this person, because he likes things also. He's busy sleeping with people he ought not to. So what ends up happening is he gets trapped into that, to now giving money and not taking money home. So doesn't that sound contrary to you? You don't want to do something wrong for someone, but yeah, you are doing things right by the person who came to you, but it is wrong to where it is being used. It's right by that individual, but it's wrong by what it affects out there. She gets further into her descriptions.
And
So poverty should have taught. I wouldn't desire that for someone. So I don't understand, how do they reconcile that? If you say, I've seen the struggle, I've seen difficulty, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone, why then are you then comfortable doing the jujus that trap other people? Because when she then describes the other things inside the video, you could almost say, but doesn't that sound contrary to you? Or maybe it's just us. Maybe it's just us who kind of see that part of it. I thought it was quite interesting. But before we go any further, if you're looking for a school tutor for particularly English, please do email this particular number that you see over here. This particular individual that does these classes makes a contribution to this ministry. So supporting them in their teaching and whatnot, so you want to recommend an English teacher, it does support this ministry. So it is another way of supporting the ministry. But this one is just something that actually does benefit. So if you have a child who's struggling, English and them type of things, do contact that email. If not, you can WhatsApp me on this number and I will forward your message over to them. There is another thing that she mentions inside there when she was talking about some of these jujus that she does.
So banokuyithatha abayisebenzisa abayibike edlozini labo bantu labo lento.
So she says this juju that she does, particularly for them lady mandams who want to bewitch people, bewitch people's hearts and get money out of them. She says they don't have to report this to their ancestors. So she speaks about how it is not attached to any of that. Okay.
Isase nje umabhebeza just wena uzofika uyenze leyo juice yakhona uyageza uyagcobisa uyayiphuza i-clean ayikho edlozini lakho mawufuna ukuyilahla uyayithatha noma ungahambi uyilahla esigangeni noma uhamba abanye ba prefer ukuyibuyisela emanzini la ufuna ukuyilahla khona uyayilahla ngoba yini.
So you can just throw it away. Why?
Isase clean.
Okay, because it's clean. I think we don't know what clean is. So it does all those wicked things and it's clean. That does not sound like a clean thing to me. How does it do wickedness and it's clean? Or do we just have a loose term for describing what cleanliness is?
It clean, aina next.
No attachment or
No attachment. So,
by the way, that's a deception. Anything that functions with this type of spirits and all these kind of things, when you are told that it is not attached to you, it's a deception, a massive deception. Even if you don't go to do juju, if you did someone wrong, no, you think without juju, if you did someone wrong, that thing would get back at you. If you just did something to someone, it will get back to you. It doesn't need to have a dark cloud or this thing has consequences. It just, the fact that you did something to someone has consequences. Somehow, this doesn't have consequence. Does that sound realistic to you? You are being sold a delusion. You are being sold a delusion. There's nothing without consequence.
mina ezomahamba before ngenza le ndaba zama-multi shop nani bengusebenzisa umabhebeza, but ama-client i-client awulitshela ukuthi ngisebenzisa for ini. So kunalama client labo sisi laba abafuna ilakha, abafuna imali, abafuna in. So la uyamixa kuba umabhebeza powder, kuba like powder, like uyawomisa usebenzise uhlanganise naleyo impande lezo uhlanganisa nawo, then usebenza kufana mara sekuhlukile ngoba lo soyiphawu and umuntu akasawuboni uthusa, sekazibonela ini umuthi.
Okay, so what's the difference? It's the same thing. By that description, when that thing is now put into it's now a power by itself. Yeah, that's demonic. So it was never clean. Why? Perception of what cleanliness is or purity is being tampered with. What is purity? When we say something is pure, what do you mean? When we say water is clean, there is a meaning. But anyways, we'll leave their descriptions on that and we'll skip to this one.
Ngidila kakhulu ngezinto ezabafazi, ngisiza abafazi abomama thola ukuthi omunye ugoa through i-divorce, maybe umyeni wakhe akasamfuni, sekafuna ukumdivorce, and yena she's not ready ukuthi angaphuma kulowo mshado loyo. Omunye seka investe kakhulu kulowo mshado lo, even namadoda thola ukuthi investe kakhulu kulowo mshado lo, then sekumele kube nama divorce phakathi or kunabantwana or abanye uthola ukuthi umuntu sesithe.
So basically, she does things that subvert people's decision making. The one thing that God gave men to be able to exercise decision making, it's now taken away from you. How is that pure? You see, when the Bible says, "Woe is unto them that call evil good," this is what it means. Because there's a line you cross when you do that. The moment you start to call good evil, and evil becomes good. How is that pure? When it subverts a person's decision making. So a person wants to leave a person. They are not allowed to leave. So she will go and they'll get this juju, and then the juju will make that person not make the decision. How does that sound like something that is pure?
Tempting. Ngumamkhulu mina. Uma ngumamkhulu umyeni wami ufuna ukungifaka esithembini and angikho ready for lento leyo. So
say the husband wants to do polygamy. And so this is the part she talks about that. So the wife doesn't want this temple. So she can also go and subvert his decision as well.
Ngidila ngalezo zinto lezo kakhulu or ke noma mncane if uma mncane yena ufuna ukulwela lo mshado ukuthi angene ngiyakhona ukuthi hayi ngevosho ngimfaka.
So even the one who wants to be a second wife, she can go and get this thing. It will stop their decision making. Now how is that pure? When it takes the one thing that a person makes a decision. Who's making a decision? Let's just ask the question, because at this point the ancestors are making decisions. At this point, ancestors are making decisions, and the decisions are going against what God says a person must be able to do. A person must be able to decide what they want. They want to stand here, they stand here. They want to remain here, they remain here. Not juju stopping their decision making. When you stop a decision making process of an individual, you are fighting God now. Yeah, don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. There is no two ways behind this. The moment you intercept a person not being able to make a decision, you are now going against, you are now at war with what God had assigned normal for a person. God has put it that a person can make a decision for what they want. Now when you say, they're not going to make that decision, do you see how the devil is corrupting your consciousness on what it means to be pure? You cannot claim that muti is pure when it goes against what God has designed. It is God's design that a person should be able to make a decision. Now, someone will make will try to justify it, especially people in the Ngoma thing. They will say the person won't be able to not make decisions. It's just this one decision that they are not able to make. Yeah, because this particular decision is just one of the decisions they won't be able to make. If there is many other decisions that person is not going to make, that is fighting God's plan for a person. Yeah, you may not approve, but that is fighting God's plan for a person. A person is given the right of free will for them to decide what they want to do. These things are diabolical. These things are satanic. Think about it. If you just sat here, think about it. How many people do you think are under these spells? They are not able to make decisions. How many people do you think are under this? Now, one of the reasons we might be having a bad country, another, yeah, right there, you can put it alongside that. There are people who are bewitched to not behave correctly. Someone hates a particular person who's an MP, who's in parliament. They go do this bewitchment thing, and then they do the bewitchment so that you'll never do good at your job. Yeah, that hints back at us. It's fighting God. It's one thing fighting the individual. It's fighting God, because God has designed it that a person should be able to make a decision. But now you are stopping the process that God has designed for that person. And then we still claim that this is pure. How? Sometimes I don't think Bungoma people like to face the fact of what exactly they are involved in, or face the facts of what they are doing. They just kind of like want to color shade over it, Let us speak about it in this man. But when you really take a look at what's being done, it tells you it's not pure. How they justify it, I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. If you thought this was, it's just a decision against, no, it is actually a fight against God, because God is the one who has put it that a person should be able to decide for themselves. So at that point, you are fighting what God had designed for a person to be able to do. You're fighting God.